there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. We have flipping done it. UCL Champions League is back on. It is. Oh boy, it is. Unreal. What a result at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 3, Liverpool 1, and especially in the circumstance where we all thought, oh my God, we're going to be clinging on to this result for dear life at the end with the 5 minutes of stoppage time added on. And we were able to make amends and fix the situation and nail it with the last kick of the game, which was the penalty. And it's 3-1 to take 3 points away from the champions. They literally did show up like they were hungover. I don't know what went down. I think alcohol. I think Alisson was still on alcohol. I think he was still drunk. Yeah. I think, you know, today he played like an alcoholic. And you know, going for the start until the end, that pretty much summed it up. But what a performance. What a performance today. See, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. From the start all the way until the finish. And it is now meant that Champions League is absolutely back on. And why? This definitely compensates for the Brentford and Ipswich draws. Definitely does. And it's a result on the fixture list that you looked at and go, man, Liverpool, really? Today we played brilliant. We played brilliant. And we got the 3 points. So absolutely, yes, it's all back on. It's more on than Donkey Kong right now. We're 4 points away from Arsenal in second with 3 games remaining. You know, same games played, 67 Arsenal, 64 Man City, 63 Newcastle, 63 Chelsea. Nottingham Forest are on 60 and they play tomorrow, which by the way, there will be a watch long for. Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. We will watch that together and we'll see what goes down. Make sure you're here for that, like you were all here for the watch long for this game, which much appreciated. All of you absolutely loved and you were fantastic in there and we had a great time. So make sure you guys are there tomorrow for the Nottingham Forest one and we'll see if they can drop points. That would be tremendous. But today's game, I felt like I was watching proper Chelsea. You know, I want to see, let me actually see, what was the final possession stat? There we are. I mean, it's music to my ears, to my eyes when I see this. It's music to my eyes. We had 35% possession today. But look how well we played and look how clinical we were and look at the result that we got. That is proper Chelsea. That's our heritage. That's how we get results. That's our way. That is our DNA. That is how you get Stamford Bridge rocking. That is the way that's how we run. That's how we do things. We try to be someone that we're not. This is who we are. And look what we did. We brought the champions to the bridge and just went, shut up, slaps, see you later. Done. 35% possession, but we had more shots, more on target, more goals. And you know what? Defensively, we were fantastic. I mean, we were bloody fantastic. Especially a couple of players in particular. But overall, starting the game with the lineup that we did, and Caicedo at right back, cutting inside to overload the midfield, worked. And I think we definitely dominated the midfield overall. We started the game super, super brilliant. You know, off the bat, out of the gates, boom, 1-0, done, straight away. And a fantastic goal at that too. You know, fantastic from Lavia into Cole Palmer onto the right-hand side. Right, was it Pedro Neto? Pedro Neto. If I'm not mistaken. I do want to clarify this and make sure because I do think it deserves justice. And I have to, yeah, so the assist came from Pedro Neto, yeah. Ball into the box, Enzo by himself. Good touch, slots it into the bottom corner. Fantastic start, blitz. And that is what Chelsea were doing time and time again today, just blitzing Liverpool. Contain, hold back, let them come at us. Don't let them through. Take the ball off them. Split them. And we were doing that just fantastic. But at the same time, like I said, defensively, we were phenomenal. Especially, in particular, and I want to praise Chalobah Sorry, Cucurella at left back, I thought he was class. But Chalobah today was moving like Rudiger. I mean, what an absolute monster performance from Chalobah today. Colossal. Absolutely colossal. He was everywhere, but boom, straight in, get rid, smack, tackle here, tackle there, slide here, take the ball here, flipping everywhere. But what also helped matters, and this is a contender for man of the match, I think alongside Chalobah, is Lavia. Lavia was instrumental today. So much composure, discipline, class, timed his tackles perfectly, timed his passes perfectly, distributing brilliantly, allowed the freedom for Enzo to move a little bit more forward, had that protection in place. Lavia was a machine today, up until the moment he had to come off, and he had to come off. But this is an example of what I mean when I say in the past to Maresca, start with the players that you know are going to be your best and you have to nail the result with, and then if you have to take them off later, take them off. That was an example of that. You started with Lavia. Lavia played fantastic, beautiful performance, what contender for man of the match. Has to come off, but we're 2-0 up. Cool, then take him off, no problem. But you've got a result. And that's how we run today. Fantastic. So, I thought he was class. Caicedo in that role was brilliant as well. No one was really bad. Even Colwell. Colwell had a couple of mishaps at the beginning, then really got himself into the game, got himself into the stride, and was really doing well after that. Enzo in front had that freedom and liberation to be the orchestrator. He's the one that would link the ball from the defense to the attack, and was more of a box-to-box, and I thought he was fantastic today. And with the goal as well. But he had so much confidence in his distribution and his runs and his dribbling and his link-ups. I thought he was great. And overall, even the attack, even the wingers, Neto, I thought was really good. Madueke, I thought was really direct. Like I say, we all see with Madueke, sometimes his last decision is always a little bit, but he was constantly causing Liverpool's all sorts of pressure and trouble. Nicholas Jackson is the only one where you can say he had a bad game. Not bad in terms of his involvement, but bad in terms of his decision, his timing, and the amount of offsides that he gets. It's just ridiculous. His timing and his movement was off today, just overall off. But he was there, he was involved, and he did cause at least a little bit of disruption. I would say he could have caused more disruption. There were some runs and some pressing that he avoided or he done too late. He didn't time himself correctly at all with the moments that he had to decide what side to go on to try and cut off a lane or to press a defender or a goalkeeper. He would always delay himself 2 or 3 seconds, or he would pick a move to make a little too late, a run a little too late, or he would do it too early and he'd be offside and he just wouldn't care about the line. I'm like, what are you doing? That was the only thing that that got me frustrated today. Apart from that, everything else was just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Even Sanchez had an easy day at the office. But when he came to catch the ball, he would. When he came to distribute, he would. When he didn't have too much of the ball though overall, so I thought he wasn't under too much pressure. Liverpool didn't create too much, but that's the thing. In terms of the system and the way that we played today, we kept Liverpool at bay. Even tactically, we didn't allow them to do too much up until the goal. Now, the second goal was thanks to them. Ball into the box. And I thought Palmer with a fantastic run in, and then he hits it. He hits the ball inside. I thought Jackson got it. But then it hits Van Dijk. Van Dijk tries to get rid of it. He hits Quansah literally in the I've got 2 words for you. Yeah. And then it goes into the net. I mean, that's a great goal. That's an equivalent to a slip, as far as I'm concerned. On the watch long, I was asking for another slip, and then they gave me that. I'll take it. Yes, please. Thank you very much. I think that's actually better than a slip. How do you get balls to put a ball in a net? I mean, that's fantastic. That's just poetry. That's poetry. That's purely poetry. That's poetic. So 2-0, and we needed that. That was the second goal that we needed in the second half in order for us to have a bit of breathing space, a little bit of composure. We've got control of the game. Now we can really just sit back a little bit, conserve the energy, let Liverpool have the ball a little bit, and we're just not going to let them through. And that is such a Chelsea thing to do. That is how we've operated for years and years. That's how we've done it. And we executed it really well up until the 84th minute, where McAllister delivers the ball into the box and Van Dijk is there to hit it in. And there was I don't know what Liverpool player it was, but there was a Liverpool player, I think he was blocking Chalobah in order to allow Van Dijk to go through. And I thought that was clever, very clever, because Van Dijk had a free run basically because of that. And he just literally kept his body in the way. And sometimes you got to check like that. Sometimes you have to. Van Dijk got the header, 2-1, squeaky bum time. But in the process of that, even close to the goal, I thought the substitutions from Enzo Maresca were fantastic. We were anticipating Liverpool to start turning to their big boys because they did rotate, but they did rotate with their bench. They still had really good players on the pitch. But they started taking off Endo and Jota and Harvey Elliott, and they brought on Szoboszlai, McAllister, Darwin Núñez, who missed a flipping sit-dive, I think with a header that nearly went out for a throw. But we brought on Sancho for Nicholas Jackson. We brought on Gusto for Lavia. We then switched Caicedo back into midfield, but we were 2-0 up at that point. See, that's the timing of the subs. That's perfect. You know? And even later on, we take off Enzo Fernandez. We bring on Reece James to shut the game down. And it worked like a charm. Fantastic ball in behind. We get a penalty. Player brought down. Referee points to the spot, and it was a penalty. It was a penalty. Clear as day. And then Cole Palmer steps up, and we wrap it up 3-1. Thank you very much. Last kick of the day, man. Champions League is back on. So, I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't be happier. And like I said, I think all the players that I mentioned deserves praise. I think even Enzo Maresca deserves praise there. I think he set up everyone brilliantly. And this is a lesson to learn. I know some people are going to say, yeah, but Younes, you can't do this every single game. No, but you can bring elements of this to every single game, which we just don't do. Sometimes you can force your opponent to have the ball. And I think we should do that a little bit more. And some would seem like it's a risk. Life is a risk. It would be a risk today. This is Liverpool we're talking about. But we kept them at bay. If we can keep them at bay, we can keep anyone at bay. We're always a team that gets frustrated by playing against low blocks. Teams that we can't get past. We're the ones with most possession. And then we let in 1 or 2 goals and then we lose the game and then we start scratching our heads. Today we've done the exact same thing to Liverpool. We're capable of that. Frustrate your opponent. Sometimes give them the impression that the game is a little bit open. Give them the impression that they can have the ball, that they might be in. Allow them to maybe start coming a little bit forward. And then when they do, strike. We don't do that enough. Against other teams, we just don't do that enough. Whereas today, we've done it perfectly. And I feel like that has always been our DNA. Even in the past, where we play somewhat defensive, but we've got enough quality up top to be able to go and cause a little bit of mayhem. But it's still a conservative manner. But then we get the result and we win 2-0, 2-1 sometimes, you know. Maybe we grab a 1-0. But we execute the plan and we get points on the board. And I think this team has demonstrated today that they're capable of doing that, at least somewhat. I think we need to utilize that because, let me tell you, we complain about the atmosphere or we complain about people being on board or not really connecting with the team. A performance like that, yeah, with an execution like that, with 35% of the ball, is something that the whole Chelsea fan base can connect with. Let me tell you that now. There's not one sad soul at Stamford Bridge today, and there's not one person that wasn't jumping up and down at Stamford Bridge today. And why? Because they could resonate with what they were seeing. The execution was there. We didn't need all the ball, but we grabbed the points. We done it our way, and we said thank you very much, and we slapped the champions up. That's the Chelsea way. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy with what we saw today. Really happy. And long may it continue. And you know what? It's like I said on the watch along. I want to ask this question to end. Are the stars aligning for this one as well? We had Forest drop points. Earlier on, Newcastle dropped points, even though they got an equaliser to Brighton, but they dropped points. And then today, we beat Liverpool 3-1. It's happened before where things start just mysteriously panning themselves right into a straight line for us. Is it happening again? And are we going to get Champions League football? Because now I can say Champions League football, the race is fully back on. We needed to win today, and we did. So it's back on, 100%. Next is Newcastle. And then Man United, Nottingham Forest, but it's all super tight now. It's all super tight. Like I said, we're 1 point behind City. We're on par with Newcastle. We're 3 ahead Forest. Palace, Nottingham Forest tomorrow. We're going to be Palace fans tomorrow. Make sure you're here for the watch along on that, and we'll watch it together, and we'll see how it goes down. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below on today's tremendous performance and tremendous result, what you thought overall. And happy days. Well done to the Chelsea. Well done to all the players. Well done to Maresca. And long may it continue. 3 games left. Can we get Champions League? Maybe we can. There's going to be a video out tomorrow as well in relation to a situation that we have to address just in case we do make Champions League. So make sure you're here for that too. And I'll catch all of you then. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. See you tomorrow. Take care and peace.